Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown, and welcome to our Caregiving Book Club podcast and video show. I introduce you to authors who use their personal caregiving experience to write a book. And I'm delighted and thrilled to introduce you to Beverly Nance. Hi, Beverly.
Hi, Denise. Hi, everyone.
Beverly's one of our certified caregiving consultants, and she's also the author of Take Care, caring for yourself while you care for others. Beverly, it's great to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
So tell us how you found the time to write your book while you are caring for your daughter.
Well, it took a long time to write it. And when I had gaps and from free time, I would write some of the stuff down. And then I went back in and typed it. Some of the stuff I would record in the car or just try to remember, because remember how sometimes you dream things and then you wake up, you don't remember. So I would record things and then I would go back in and write it. It took a long time, a long time.
When did you decide, you know what, I've got a book and I'm going to start working on it?
I was in a book collaboration before this one with some 18 women in a book called Driven Success. And after I finished my chapter, everybody wrote their chapter. After I finished my chapter, I decided, you know what, it would be nice to have a book of just my own. So I decided, what should I write about? And I didn't have enough content to write about jigsaw puzzles because that's the thing that I would like to write about, even though I did find a book on jigsaw puzzles somebody wrote. But anyway, I just thought I would write a book to help other people in the caregiving situation.
And I should mention that Beverly makes jigsaw puzzles. That is one of her businesses that she also focuses on. So I think it would be awesome for you to write a book about jigsaw puzzles.
That would be interesting.
So you wrote a book that you wanted to be of service and of help to others who are in a caregiving situation. How did writing the book help you during your personal caregiving experience?
Um, I wrote it to help others. You know, a lot of times you see autistic kids who unfortunately come to bad ends, whether it's their parents or they ran off. And, you'll see a lot of criticism about the parents. And it's a bad thing when a parent takes a child's life. And I just figured out if they knew of some resources or something that they could do to relax or help their life along, maybe it wouldn't have ended that way. And every time I hear an autistic kid is missing, I automatically think that they're in a body of water because kids are attracted to water, or I think that one of the parents um, came unglued and did something to the kid and then did something to themselves. And there's a lot of cases like that. I don't have an actual number, but I do hear a lot of news stories over the years of, I think, what is it called? Some kind of side. It's not homicide, but in the end, that's what they're in charged with. It's a parent killing their kid. And a lot of autistic kids don't come out well.
So you really wanted to create a resource that parents who are caring for a child with autism could go to know they're not alone and there are resources for their stress. So
Exactly.
what stress management techniques that you use did you draw on to include in the book?
I I kind of put down extra things for people who are not caring for people with autism, but if you're caring for a parent, about having a hobby, utilizing respite. Sometimes I've met a few parents who have never even heard of respite, and I had to introduce them to what respite was and why it was needed. Um, Having talks with a lot of times people don't like to go into talk to people about mental health, but it's important. I did kind of by accident, but I did. I put that in the book. it's just a whole bunch of things that, people could consider. They don't have to do them all, but they can pick a few. I used to jigsaw puzzles, obviously. Uh, it's a stress reliever for me. You have to kind of choose what it is that you want to do. And I put exercise in there. A lot of people don't really consider that when they think about self-care, but I put all that stuff in there. You can pick and choose which fits your situation.
So I love that your mission really in writing the book is to save lives.
Yes, I would love to help another parent along. It's just so heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And I think only another parent in a similar situation can understand that very specific heartbreak.
It's, yeah, it's a situation where you hate to have to tell people that, you're really not in my shoes, but in a lot of cases, they're really not in my shoes. Their situation a lot of times ends when their kid graduates and goes on to college or goes on to live their life away from them. But when you have a child with autism and you're thinking about that, a lot of times when I think I didn't really start thinking about my own mortality until my daughter got maybe in her teenage years. And I was thinking, wow, I need to extend my life because, if you're under stress, you take years off of your life. I didn't learn that until I ended up in front of a doctor.
So you're also looking at this as the perspective of I take care of myself and then I extend my life so I can be there for my daughter for a longer period of time.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a quality of life thing too.
Yeah, it's quality of life for both of you, including your son who helps you care for your daughter.
Yes. You would be surprised. I, how do I put this? They give up a good chunk of their life as well. The siblings, when my kids are like 3 years apart. So they kind of, you don't know anything different. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't know anything different unless you're looking at maybe the family across the street and seeing how they do things differently. But yeah, it takes a toll on siblings as well.
Oftentimes, I think about the message that we hear around self care, and oftentimes it is this message of take care of yourself so you can be a better family caregiver. And that is true. And I also think there's the other part of it too. You take care of yourself because you deserve that time and attention for your own health, your own mental well being. Living in a state of deprivation is awful. It is terrible, which is why we really think about, well, how do I receive? How do you make sure you receive every day?
I don't get that in every day. I do try, but I try to expand like the way that I look at self-care. It's for me, it's the peace of mind of having your financials in order, um, having things filed away. So like if I drop dead today, my son would know exactly what it is to do, especially for my daughter, because he may not want to be in a situation where he has to have her with him his whole life. But there are resources that he can call on and maybe find a good spot for her. I also have to look at her financials. She has to have separate bank accounts, have to have things ready for um, SSI. You have to file every year a report. And in the county that I live in, people don't really think about it as self-care. You do have to go and have a guardianship for your kid when they turn 18. And all that to me is, when you have all that stuff in order, to me is a part of self-care. People kind of think of it as like, can I soak my feet today or have a glass of wine? For me, it goes way beyond that. And I did put some of that in the book about having your affairs in order. Because if you have your affairs in order, I'm not saying that you will get 8 hours of sleep, but you can get some better sleep. You're not up worrying about that.
Yeah, I love that. It's this idea that I'm going to be realistic about my situation. And the
Exactly.
reality is, people depend on me for important information and important knowledge. And I want to make sure that that is available for people just in case.
Sometimes, I've met parents who they don't want to consider it.
Yeah.
And I think that, if you're married, which I'm divorced, so I don't have that to fall back on. So I have to have my stuff straight because I don't have a husband that's going to, take care of that if I drop dead. So I try to have my stuff straight. But I've met parents who they don't even want to talk about it. I've met just like parents who they don't want to consider respite because they feel like, well, if I don't know what's going on. But if you're dead, you still don't know what's going on. So you may as well have went to respite, let your kid go to respite and get you some rest. That's the way I look at it. And it's harsh to say, but when you've been saying it over the years and you see people deteriorating and not taking care of themselves, you get frustrated. And what else is there? You try to say it in a nice way, but take care of yourself. Get your things in your life in order. Having an autistic kid, you're not the only one. Taking care of a parent, you're not the only one. Get your stuff. You'd be surprised. Somebody posted on Facebook yesterday about decluttering, how good that is for your life. And I told them, yeah, it gives you clarity and it gives you creativeness just to declutter. It's just like so many things. I just threw them in the book and you can pick and choose.
Yeah, I think decluttering is so important. If there's something in my life that feels like it is at a standstill, I'm not moving forward in the way I want, I focus on decluttering. Because in some ways, it's the emotional clearing of the path. And I also think if we are surrounded by worries that are rattling around in our head, that's clutter. So the reality is, no one lives forever. And we are worried about that in our head, regardless of whether or not we say it out loud. And taking care of that worry is a way to free up space in your life so that you can be more fully present in the moments. And that's really what you're talking about, how to make the moments so that you feel good in them.
Exactly. 'Cause Father Time is undefeated.
Father time is undefeated. Okay, Beverly, that is wow, right there, right? We never beat Father time.
Nope.
I've never met anyone who has beat Father Time. So, what did you learn in terms of the book writing process when you were working on your book?
I published my book through Amazon. The book writing process is kind of like journaling. That's how it was for me. Um, it, there was I kind of pieced it out. I wrote it, and then I found out I needed an editor because people were saying don't try to edit yourself. So I found an editor, and then I kind of decided what I want for a cover. I want something peaceful and colorful. I love colors. Um, it wasn't as hard as people say it is, and it wasn't as expensive as people say it is. I wasn't shooting to be on New York Times bestseller list or anything like that. I just wanted to put a book out.
I have always self published, and I find that just knowing I'm going to do it puts me at a deadline. And it also saves me time of trying to figure out who could do it for me. Like, who's the agent? Who's the publisher? We've talked to authors who have done both ways. They've used a publisher and they've done self publishing. It really is, it's free to self publish on Amazon, which I struggle a little bit with Amazon because I think as a business practice, oh my gosh, but then I think as an author, it's just amazing that you can put your book out into the world and it's free. It's free.
Yes. I also did I don't have it with me right now, but it was like it had coloring book pages in it and journal pages in it. It was supposed to go with the other book. Got it off the ground. It's on Amazon, but I never really got it off I think maybe I sold 2 copies, but that's like you said, it's free.
It's free to put your work out there. So tell us a little bit about marketing your book. How have you approached getting the word out, and how have you overcome any, oh my gosh, worries about putting your work out into the world?
Um, I didn't do a whole lot of marketing. Usually, if I can have the opportunity to do a workshop, sometimes if it's a small workshop, the host of the workshop will just buy everybody a book, which works perfect. And if not, they'll just say, there's a book and then where you can buy it. So sometimes you'll get a sale, sometimes not. But I wasn't really, let me back up because I do want to change the way that I didn't market because, a book is evergreen. You can just go back and do whatever you want with it. I would like to now, I think I'm going to put my book on Goodreads as a giveaway, maybe give away 10 books because I participate in Goodreads. Have you heard of them? Yeah, I'm going to do the Goodreads. I did once an ad on Facebook and just word of mouth, which is really small marketing.
I actually was just on Twitter before we connected today, and an author I follow is doing a giveaway on Goodreads. So it's interesting. So I think that is an awesome marketing tool. And I love that you are using presentations that you book as an opportunity to also sell books. And we know that something that helps you book presentations is the fact that you're an author.
hmm And usually what I'm talking about is something in the book.
There you go. Right. So something that I love to do is create content and then use it in different forms. So you've created content for a book, which becomes content for presentations and workshops, and it all fits together in a really profound way. So that any opportunity you're creating for yourself, there's also the opportunity to talk about your book.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay, so Beverly, thank you so much for being here today. So, for our viewers and listeners who'd like to be in touch with you, what is your website address?
My website is Take Care Time, all one word, takecaretime.com.
And can we find out about your puzzles on your website?
I'm sorry, it's puzzlebilities.com. People always spell it wrong. So it's puzzlebilities.com. It's like puzzle and abilities. It's puzzlebilities.
Okay, that's awesome. And the name of your book is Take
It's
Care.
Take Care Time.
Yeah, yeah, Take Care. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Beverly, thank you so much. Always great to connect and share with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And thank you, everyone.
Okay, for those of you who'd like to actually use our resources to help your local library create a resource page for family caregivers, go to our website, careyearsacademy.com/library. You'll see a link to our book club podcast, as well as other resources that libraries can use for free to include resources to help family caregivers in their community. I'm Denise Brown. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Bye-bye.